Have you ever saved up for like a really nice piece of clothing?
Yeah.
Like maybe a high-end suit for a wedding or I don't know, a major presentation. And when you finally put it on and look in the mirror, it still somehow looks like you borrowed your dad's clothes.
That is the absolute worst feeling.
Right. You were standing there tugging at the lapels, just wondering why the guy in the advertisement looked like $1,000,000. Meanwhile, you just look like you were wearing a very expensive cardboard
A
box.
very stiff cardboard box. Yeah.
Exactly. So today, we are finding out exactly why that happens. We are diving deep into the secret mechanics of menswear and custom tailoring. Welcome to today's deep dive.
Glad to be here.
If you have ever felt completely overwhelmed walking into a high-end store, just being hit with a wall of terminology that sounds like a secret club you missed the orientation for, you are in the right place.
It can be super intimidating.
It really is. So, our mission today is to decode the ultimate style guide. We are pulling from this really comprehensive briefing document titled Bespoke versus Sakdakis, and it analyzes the shifting consumer trends heading into 2026. Plus, it looks at modern case studies like the premium brand Apparelizer.
Right. Which is doing some really interesting things right now.
They really are. So we are going to arm you with the inside knowledge you need to understand how tailoring actually works on a structural level, so you can make confident wardrobe investments without feeling, completely lost.
Yeah, and the frustration you described with that mirror experience, it's incredibly common. It usually comes down to a fundamental misunderstanding of how clothes are actually built.
Just the actual construction of them.
Exactly. I mean, the fashion industry, particularly the luxury sector, they love to throw around terminology that implies prestige.
Oh, for sure.
But there is a massive, tangible structural difference behind the words they use.
Mhm.
We're really looking at the stark divide between mass market consumption, which basically forces human bodies into predetermined mathematical averages, and the rapidly growing demand for personalized fashion.
Right.
Consumers are finally realizing that clothing should be engineered to fit a specific lifestyle and, a unique physical shape.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because navigating this jargon feels a lot like ordering coffee at a third wave, ultra trendy cafe.
Oh, that is a great comparison.
You know the exact result you want it to taste like, but the menu is in another language.
Yeah, and you're just pointing and hoping.
Exactly. You are just hoping you do not end up with an overpriced espresso shot when all you wanted was a latte. Retailers constantly use words like custom, made to measure, and bespoke as if they are totally interchangeable.
Which is a brilliant marketing tactic, honestly, but a terrible disservice to the consumer.
Yeah.
When brands blur those lines, they are glossing over monumental differences in the physical craftsmanship, the level of customization, and ultimately the mechanics of the fit. To really understand why a garment drapes the way it does, we have to look at the underlying architecture.
Let's start at the absolute top of the mountain then. The pinnacle of that architecture is widely considered the Savile Row standard, which is bespoke tailoring.
Yes, the gold standard.
I want to strip away all the romantic marketing fluff here. For anyone who might not be a tailoring aficionado, where does this term even come from? And mechanically speaking, what does it actually mean?
So the term originates from Savile Row, which is a street in Mayfair, London. It has been the global epicenter of traditional high-end tailoring for centuries.
Wow, centuries.
Yeah. Historically, when a customer chose a bolt of cloth in a tailor shop, that specific fabric was said to be spoken for.
Oh, I see. Be spoken for. Bespoke.
Exactly. That is the literal origin. But mechanically, the defining characteristic of a bespoke garment, the element that separates it from absolutely every other category of clothing, is the paper pattern.
Okay, break that down for me.
A bespoke tailor creates a completely unique two-dimensional paper blueprint entirely from scratch, engineered exclusively for your specific three-dimensional body.
So there is no size 42 regular starting point at all. The tailor is literally looking at a blank piece of butcher paper.
Not a single pre-existing line. The tailor acts as both an architect and a structural engineer.
That is wild.
They take dozens of precise measurements, sure, but they also evaluate factors that a tape measure just cannot capture.
Like what?
Well, they look at your natural posture. Do you slouch slightly forward?
I probably do, yeah.
Most of us do. Do you have an athletic drop from your chest to your waist? What is the exact pitch, meaning the angle of your shoulders?
Right.
Because one shoulder is almost always slightly lower than the other.
Oh, wow. Brilliant.
Oh, absolutely. A bespoke pattern is drafted to camouflage those asymmetries and flatter your specific geometry.
I used to think of tailoring like buying a house, like off the rack is buying a house in a subdivision, and bespoke is building a custom home from the ground up.
Mhm.
You pick the plot, pour a unique foundation, design every room.
That's a good way to look at it.
But based on what you were saying about the geometry and the mechanics of movement, it feels much closer to motorsports.
Okay, how so?
Well, buying off the rack is like buying a sports car off the dealer lot. It is fast, sure, but it is built for the average driver.
Right.
But bespoke tailoring is like having a Formula One chassis poured and molded to perfectly match the exact length of your legs and the specific curve of your spine. It is basically a wearable work of art, a feat of engineering.
What's fascinating here is how that engineering translates into the hidden interior of the suit.
The interior, you mean the lining?
No, deeper than that.
Ah,
In bespoke tailoring, there is a canvas, which is this internal layer of horsehair and wool that actually gives the jacket its shape.
oh, okay.
And in bespoke, that canvas is floating. It is entirely hand-stitched to the outer fabric rather than glued, which is what you find in cheap mass-market suits.
They glue the inside of cheap suits.
They do, which is why they look so stiff.
Mhm.
But because a bespoke canvas is hand-stitched, it actually warms up from your body heat over time and physically molds to the shape of your chest.
Wait, really? It changes shape?
Yes. The garment literally adapts to your anatomy the more you wear it.
That is incredible. And that brings up a critical part of the process mentioned in our source material, which is the fittings. Because this is not a scenario where you get measured on Tuesday and, pick up a finished suit on Friday.
Oh, far from it.
Yeah.
The process involves multiple fittings, starting with what is called a basted fitting.
What does that mean?
So the tailor temporarily sews the rough fabric panels together with loose white basting thread. It is essentially a wearable rough draft.
Okay, I can picture that.
You put it on, and the tailor rips the seams open right there in the room, pinning and adjusting the fabric millimeter by millimeter to account for how the cloth reacts to your movements.
Millimeter by millimeter.
Literally, it is the relentless pursuit of an uncompromising fit.
Which sounds like an incredible luxury experience. But let's be realistic here. We are talking about dozens of hours of highly skilled, intensive manual labor. You are going back to the tailor's shop 3, maybe 4 times over the course of several months. The price tag for that level of heritage craftsmanship is astronomical.
It's definitely an investment.
Right. And not every modern professional has the time to dedicate to multiple fittings, nor the desire to drop 5 figures on a suit just to attend a quarterly board meeting.
Exactly. The traditional bespoke model is a massive bottleneck. It simply cannot scale.
Right.
The fashion industry realized it was leaving a huge demographic of busy, budget-conscious, but style-conscious consumers behind. They needed a way to deliver a significantly upgraded fit without the extreme time commitment and the prohibitive cost of drafting from absolute scratch.
And that is the perfect bridge to the modern upgrade. Enter made to measure, or MTM.
Right.
This is where things get heavily tech-driven, right? Let's break down the actual mechanism of made to measure. How does it bypass that bespoke bottleneck?
So the crucial distinction is the starting point. Made to measure skips the blank piece of paper. Instead, the process utilizes a pre-existing standard block pattern. Think of it as a digital blueprint of an idealized average size. The manufacturer takes your specific measurements and mathematically alters that existing digital block to fit you.
Wait. So is made to measure just a glorified version of taking an off-the-rack suit to a local tailor to get the race taken in?
I can see why you'd think that.
Because it sounds exactly like a marketing gimmick. If you were just taking a standard size and altering it, isn't that literally just buying a suit at a department store and taking it to the dry cleaner down the street to hem the sleeves? Why invent a fancy term for basic alterations?
I get this question all the time. It sounds similar on the surface, but structurally, it is an entirely different universe.
How so?
When you take an off-the-rack suit to a local tailor, you are altering a finished garment. The fabric has already been cut, the pockets are placed, the lapels are finished, the seams are sewn.
Right, it's already a jacket.
Exactly. So you are severely limited by the physical boundaries of the cloth. You can take the waist in a bit, sure, but you cannot change the fundamental architecture of how the shoulder connects to the chest.
Because the house is already built. You can paint the walls, but you cannot move the load-bearing columns.
Precisely. Made to measure, on the other hand, involves modifying the blueprint before the fabric is ever cut.
Oh, I see.
Let's say a standard size 40 jacket fits your chest, but your shoulders are unusually broad. In an MTM system, CAD software computer-aided design mathematically stretches the digital armhole of that size 40 pattern by 1.5 inches to accommodate your shoulders.
Okay, so it happens in the computer first.
Yes. That adjusted digital file is then sent to an automated laser cutter, which slices the raw fabric to those exact new specifications. So the suit is constructed around your modified proportions from the ground up.
That clears it up completely. It is a technological intervention. You are getting the customization at the blueprint phase, which allows for a much cleaner, more integrated fit than hacking apart a finished jacket.
Exactly. It relies on streamlined, machine-assisted manufacturing combined with a predetermined set of manual adjustments.